All right, buddy. Thanks for joining us. We're going to run through the O-line today, and we'll start with Coach Rudolph. We'll start with questions for him with Jesse.
Guys.
Hey, Joe. Can you share how you view your O-line too deep at this point, and maybe which guys are battling for spots at the different positions?
Yeah, I would say in one word, competitive. Like this is about as competitive a group for jobs as we've had. Really feel pretty solid about the two deep itself. You know, so far this spring at left tackle, I've had Tyler Beach and Logan Brown. Been great competition there. Guys bringing out the best of each other. And we always have the ability to move guys around if to fit it in the right spot, but that's where those guys have been repping. At the left guard position, Josh Seltzner and Cormac Sampson have been battling for position. Both of them doing pretty well so far this spring. At the center position has been Caden Lyles and Tanner Bordolini. The same, great competition there. At the right guard position has been Jack Nelson and Michael Furtney. Those guys have been in great competition. And at right tackle, it's been Logan Bruss and Trey Weddig. So, you know, really like where the two deep is at. The third group that's been working in is Riley Malman's here. He's been working in at the tackle spots. Ben Barton has been working in at the guard spots. And Dylan Barrett's been working guard center, and Blake Smithback's been working center.
Steve.
I was just wondering what the experience was like for you last season, calling plays, and how you like the situation this year, where it's going back to Paul, just what that dynamic's was like last year and what you expect it to be like this year.
You know, it had always been really cool because we've kind of just worked together on it, and I've enjoyed that. He's a great partner in doing stuff. You know, I feel like we have a good way of complementing each other, and I've always appreciated that and enjoyed that. And last year, just with everything going on, we kind of changed it up, you know, and I was happy to step into whatever role coach needed. In new roles, you kind of learn, and there were times where it seemed like more, you know, run game kind of got the flow of the game was happening through the run game, and that felt very comfortable to call and to work with. And then when the game in games where it wasn't going through the run game, it was going to be more pass oriented, and those passes were changing. I felt a little conflicted about helping the line and dealing with the changes that were happening in the passing game. So it was a good experience, you know what I mean? And you know, but I just love the opportunity to work with the line and to help those guys. And you realize in a game how much you can help between series and helping those guys to grow. And so we've had some really good discussions and feel like this is a really good approach to this season.
Joe, I just wanted to get your take on yesterday with Coach Alvarez retiring, just the emotions that you had there, and if you have like maybe a lesson or two that you've tried to take from him throughout your coaching career.
Yeah, it was one. It's awesome to see Coach. You know, I love seeing him, and it's awesome to think about all that he's been able to do as a coach and as an athletic director, and the impact that he's had on the program is to be celebrated. And then, you know, part of me is probably a little bit surreal, a little bit sad, you know, because you love him and you love him being around, and so probably all the more reason to celebrate the career and what he's been able to do. And I think the main lesson is, you know, shoot, man, I think as a player, when we came in, you know, he's funny. He'll talk about the group and how good it was and the opportunity to win, but he and the staff that he assembled really put that into us, you know, helped us to believe and, you know, and showed us how to work. And, you know, his words on the board in the team room were trust, love, commitment, and belief. And, he'd always bring things back to those words and talk through them. And I think through that, he really taught us how to win on the field and how to win as a team. And, it's funny, those exact same lessons is what I lean back on anytime in my life that you have any type of adversities or struggles. And so, he kind of taught us how to approach things long after the game stopped for all of us. And, for all those reasons, I think we love what we experienced here, and we carry it with us. We carry it forward with us.
Jeff?
Joe, last season before Caden got hurt, where do you think he was in terms of his development? And I apologize if you've been asked this, but is he full go and doing everything? And how does he look so far this spring?
Yeah, I would say before last year, it was probably a little bit more of survival mode, going through what he went through in the off season from surgeries and procedures. And he is one tough joker, man. Like I said, there was only one guy that came through that was Biadic, Badger. And man, for him to be able to do that without all the reps behind him, I thought was really a credit to him and his perseverance. And I think he has taken a real step forward. His health is much better. His playing strength is better. And now, the work is on trusting the technique and the details. It's not about, hey, how can we do this to, be okay on the rep, and I've appreciated the way he's approached the spring.
Back to Jesse.
Joe, you mentioned Jack Nelson and Trey Weddig as a couple guys that are battling for time in the 2 deep. What does each of those guys do well that has put them in position to contribute? And I'd also ask the same question about Logan Brown, since he's another young guy people are excited about.
For sure. Each of them have bring different things, as you suggest, and each one of them have certain things that they need to overcome to kind of take that next step. So Jack, I'll start with him. There is a physicality and explosiveness, a let it loose mentality that is infectious. And I think that's what is really pushing him into the opportunity. You know what I mean? And his athleticism shows up because he's going a million miles an hour. And there's definitely some things from a standpoint of technique, some fundamentals that he needs to clean up so that he can be consistent. Trey Weddig, man, there's a ton of things that shows up on tape that he does naturally for such a big person. The way that he steps off the ball, the way that he sets, just some things that he makes look easy are surprising. But the thing that he needs to do is kind of let it loose a little bit more, and I think that'll be the area that he needs to kind of show in these, the last, 11 practices. And then for Logan, it's just consistency. It's man, does some things where you're like, wow, holy crap. Did you just, that's man. And then there's an inconsistency of play that, that you just can't afford to have. And so those are all different areas, but really excited about all three of them. And that's the battle we have together is to take that next step.
Jake?
Joe, you mentioned Tyler Beach at left tackle. We've seen him at right tackle. What intangibles or traits does he have that he could play both spots, and what's making you put him out over on that left side of the line right now?
Yeah, the number one thing is that he has his consistency. He's a very consistent player. He's a smart player. He's detailed. I've challenged him to be more of a let it loose guy, more explosive, trying to be great rather than maybe trying not to be wrong. And I think he's got that in him, and it showed up a little bit in these practices. So I'm going to keep pushing that out of him. And then the reason was because Brusser settling in at the right tackle position. I thought that would create really good competition at the left side. Bruss is probably our most consistent performer, and yet still has a cut it loose difference maker type of ability. So, putting him in a spot where he can do just that was an emphasis for this season.
We've got time for a couple more. We'll go to Zach Hanley.
Joe, you just mentioned Bruss. Is he kind of taking over the leadership role in the O-line room?
I think he leads by example. You know, he's definitely increased his voice, but when you watch him, you're kind of like, damn, you know, that dude is doing the stuff that I want to put on tape, and he's cutting it loose and he's playing fast, and there's the detail. So I think he earns a voice through how he plays, but he's definitely not alone in the leadership. You know, like I feel really confident in this senior group from how they're committed to this program and how they're committed to the guys around them. So guys like Tyler Beach and guys like Caden Lyles, Josh Selchner, like even Blake Smith back in his own way, like he helps and leads and coaches, and you know, it's a really awesome group that way. So, you know, I think together we'll all kind of push forward, but Bruss is definitely kind of the bell cow of the group.
We'll wrap things up with one more from Colton.
I know it's kind of tough in spring practices, but how have you seen those different combinations and guys moving across the line affect the communication at all, or if it has?
Right now they've all been working together, so 5 guys in at a time. You know, so the communication's been really well, understanding each other. You know, just wanted to get those guys working together and feeling comfortable with who's next to them. If as the spring goes, I feel like different mix of guys would be better, then, you know, you have the ability to get to that. But the subbing has been more of 5 guys at a time going in and out.
All right. Thanks, Rudy. Appreciate your time.
See you guys.